Hello guys and welcome back to my Unreal Engine 5 sequencer series for making cinematic cutscenes. This is part 5 and in this video we are going to be checking out something very basic, which is camera animations. So we are going to be looking at camera rigs, explaining what they are, and I think it's going to be a short part, so yeah, let us just dive right into it. So first I downloaded this scene, which is called the Meadows environment. And I added this pirate character and also gave him one of the animations, but you know, it looks ugly with the retargeting. You can see here that he looks like he's wearing high heels. And yeah, I applied the animation so that we can test with this animation. So, well, what are camera rigs? So if you go to Google and search for camera crane and camera rail, you can see that crane is this thing, which, you know, you put the camera on and you can use it to rotate, or not really rotate, but actually just move the camera up and down or to the sides. So yeah, we're going to be looking at this and how to do this in Unreal Engine 5. And also, if you look for camera rail, you can see that we have this thing, which you can use to actually like make the camera move straight or in a predefined path. So this is really useful in Unreal Engine, and I think it's even more useful than real life. So yeah, we are also going to check this out, and we are going to start with the camera crane, which we are going to get from the create actors button. So you can either go here, search for cinematic and do camera rig or camera crane, or you can open the place actors panel and search for camera rig crane. So I'm just going to do this. So first of all, we are going to do an establishing shot of this place before actually focusing on the character. So I'm going to put my camera crane somewhere far away, and yeah, I'm going to put it over here. Now we are going to create a camera actor, and we're going to do that by doing our sequence. So we're going to go here, hit this button, go to add level sequence, and we're going to go to the sequences folder, and I'm just going to call it Meadows sequence. Now that we have done that, we want to create a brand new cinematic camera actor. So just hit this button and it should set it as the main camera. Now we go back to our camera crane. Also, yeah, just go to the details panel. You can see that we have lots of settings over here, but to actually put a camera on it, what you need to do is you need to just drag the camera and drop it there. So now that you have done that, you can see that the camera didn't actually move to be on the tip of this crane. So in order to fix that, what you're going to do is you're going to have to go to the transform of the camera actor and set everything to 0, and it should automatically change it so that it will, it will go to the 0, which is going to be the crane now that we have parented it to, or parent it to it. So if you exit out of the camera view and take a look, you can see that your camera is over here, right where it's supposed to be, but the rotation is also messed up. So I'm going to hit this button, and you can see that the rotation is now fixed, and it is basically in the perfect spot. You just need to reset everything to 0, except for the scale, obviously. And then what we are going to do next is we are going to be checking this actor out, and you can see over here the camera view. But what we are going to do instead is we are going to split this viewport into 2 separate windows so that we can see one through the sequencer and the other is just going to be a view of the screen. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to this button, then go to layouts and choose 2 panes, and just go with this one, and we're going to make this larger so that it's more like the aspect ratio that we want. Go to this one, make it perspective, and go there. You can hit the F button to go there directly. Now this one is the, well, you can just go here and choose the cinematic viewport. But yeah, you can see cinematic viewport actually switches to this viewport, which is specifically for the cutscenes. I didn't mention this in the first few videos, but yeah, now that we're talking about the cameras, this is really important. Though honestly, I don't really use it that much. It's not really part of my workflow, but I can understand why a person would in a more realistic game than mine. Anyway, now that we have done that, also one more thing. I think the the focal length, I want to change that just at the start. We're gonna go and change the focal length of the camera to be, well, I don't know, 12. That didn't do anything over here though. Oh well, we don't have this. So yeah, 12 is good. And we want to get rid, we're gonna go back to perspective over here. Yeah, this is gonna fix it. Okay. Well, now that we have done that, you can select the crane actor and go to the details panel, and you have a few settings. They are very simple. So we have crane pitch. If you do that, it will move the crane up and down, and this is good for vertical movement. You can actually animate this, and you can see that while this happens, the camera will stay straight even if the crane actually moves. So you can do this kind of movement and the camera will stay focused on one place, which is perfect. But if you actually hit this button, which is lock mount pitch, it will actually rotate the camera with it. So now you can do like a full-on rotation, though I don't think this is as useful. Actually, no, it is useful, like for scenes where the character is in first person and then you look up at the sky. Yeah, this is actually useful. It doesn't even need to be first person, you know, just things looking at the sky, or even this. Yeah, I like this shot. Anyway, you can animate both of those values. You can see that we have add a keyframe for this property, so you can actually play with this inside of the cutscene so that you can turn it off and on, which is exactly like, it's just perfect. Honestly, it's really useful for both. Like both of them are really useful. Now we have the other option, which is crane yaw. So the crane yaw, what it's gonna do is it's gonna rotate it the other way, which is around, you know, a circular value. And you can see that this isn't as useful until you turn on lock mount yaw, which will also rotate the camera. You know, with it off, it's not gonna rotate the camera, which is honestly not really used much. I don't see it being used in a movie or anything. But if you actually turn this on, this is basically just a crane shot of the well, it can be like a tracking shot if you're tracking a character through a thing, or just an overview of the area. You know, it's just perfect. So we are gonna actually animate those. I'll just revert everything back, and we are gonna go and animate those very quickly. So this shot is gonna be 5 seconds. This is perfect. And actually, no, let's make it even longer. 15 seconds. 14 is fine. And we're going to extend the camera. Now, we are going to start by going to this one. And we don't have this as like on the sequencer, so you can just add it. Or if you actually animate it using these, it will actually work. So for example, lock mount yaw, we can turn it on and add a keyframe, and then it will automatically add the crane, which is perfect. It's exactly what we need. Then we are gonna just, you know, we're gonna actually make it go from up to down. So I'm gonna keyframe all of those, and then I'm gonna go like 4 seconds. Then we are gonna bring it down a little bit. Well, basically it's gonna be 0. Then we're gonna animate, you know, add a keyframe, and then we're gonna add another keyframe for this one, which is the lock mount pitch. Then we are gonna go just a little bit farther and turn off lock, or actually no, let's keep it. No, actually we don't need to. This is fine. You can turn it off and then add a keyframe. And if you look at your keyframes, you know, if you zoom in, you can see them. So then after that, you know what? I'm going to add a keyframe for all of those at this point. And then we can just rotate the yaw. Oh, sorry, I forgot to actually go farther. So we're gonna go until the end. We're gonna rotate the yaw completely until we get to, no, not there, not here, just here. And also, well, I'm gonna add a keyframe for it. And also we can animate the length so that it's a longer crane. Oh, I forgot to mention this, by the way. Length just makes it shorter or longer, which is really useful. So we're gonna animate the length and add a keyframe. And now if we actually go ahead and preview this, well, I forgot to press this one. So if you hit space to preview or just the play button, you can see that we have a crane shot that goes up, then to down, then left to right. And it gets longer, so the length of the arm is actually going longer through this. And yeah, that's fine. This is everything we need to know regarding the crane. It's really useful and it's much better than actually animating the camera itself. I really like using both the crane and the spline, despite the fact that I don't use them that much. Now that we have done that though, we are going to go and look at the rail, which is also quite useful. For the rail, we are going to create a brand new camera, and I'm going to add like 10 seconds or even more, like 15 seconds to the scene. Then we're going to add the camera, which is using this button, and then go here, new, just hit plus, cinematic camera actor 2, and this will make it the next camera in the scene. By the way, guys, if you are stuck in the viewport view and you cannot really control it unless you turn this off, which also turns it off for this window, what you can do is you can actually go here to this menu and then hit allow cinematic control. And now you should have this one move freely and this one still stay in the cinematic view. So this is really useful. So yeah, now that we have added the second camera actor, which is over where is it? Anyway, we don't care. What we're gonna do is we are gonna add a new camera rig actor, which is gonna be the rail. So I'm gonna go here to the character, and I'm gonna just go to add to project, cinematic, camera rig rail. So I'm just gonna put it over here next to the character, and I'm gonna rotate. Well, it depends on what movement we need, but what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it over here and I'm gonna make it follow this path so that it can finally reach the character. Then maybe it can like move around him and then turn back again. I don't know, we'll see about that. But anyway, we can just go here, put it over here. Well, let's put it even earlier at the start. This is just an example so that you can see how useful this is. But let me find the camera actor, which is over. Yeah, now that we have the camera, we are just gonna go here and drag it to the camera rig rail, and then hit the F button to go to the rig rail. Well, on the rig rail. And then select the camera, go to location, make it 0, rotation, make it 0. And yeah, you can see that it's perfect. You can maybe move it a little bit up if you need to, like just a little bit so that it doesn't touch the ground. Or you can just move the entire camera rig actor, which is basically what I'm gonna do because, it just works, I guess. Anyway, now that we have that, I'm gonna make this one even smaller. So yeah, now that we have that, we are gonna be adding, well, no, let's not add it to the sequencer yet. Instead, I'm just gonna make the path itself. Now to control points on your spline, what you're gonna do is you're gonna select the last point in there, and then you're gonna hit the Alt button, then just drag out of it to move it. So we are just gonna zoom out as much as we can. Then we are gonna just hit the Alt button to create new points to follow this path. So you can see that it's just perfect. It's really easy to use, and it's way better than actually animating the transform. So I really recommend it. And you can even rotate your spline. So for example, over here we can just do a U-turn. Whoops, sorry. There we go. So yeah, the reason that happened is because I duplicated the spline, or hit the Alt button on the spline at a point where it wasn't really the end. So if you, for example, select the previous point and then you press Alt and drag out of it, it will create a point between it and the next point. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It comes in handy later. But anyway, this is what our spline is. I'm making it more curved over here on purpose. And also, you can actually animate the points, or not really animate, just set the points to be up or down. So for example, the ground over here is closer, I guess, to the, well, you can see that I didn't really, the ground isn't flat, so you can actually animate or just move those to that so that they can actually follow the same path as the ground, and then this spline wouldn't be as flat, so it can go like up and down. It's basically a roller coaster. So you can't really select multiple points at once though, which kind of sucks, but hey, you can just get over that. That's a really basic, stupid complaint. It's a nitpick. Anyway, we can just ignore that, I guess. Or you know what? Let's not. Let's just do it properly. Over here, I'm gonna raise it up a little bit so that it's on par with the character. So I'm gonna stop it over there. Though I'm not sure if the character will actually be there by the end of the animation. So now that we have done that, we want to use this on the sequencer, because right now it is like the camera is on it, and you can actually go to the details panel and set the current position on rail. But we need to put this on the sequencer, and also we have this button which is lock orientation to rail. So if you press this, it's gonna lock the orientation of the camera to the rail so that it doesn't really keep looking forward, and then it will be like a first-person view of a roller coaster, which is also quite useful, honestly, but I think you're gonna have it off most of the time. And sadly, we are gonna have to also animate the transfer or the rotation of the camera either way, and that is because we are going to try to stay focused on the character throughout this part of the cutscenes. Let's go ahead and put this to the sequencer. So we start our animation at this point where the first animation ends, and we are going to select the rail. We're going to add keyframe at 0. Then we're going to go right to the end of the cutscene and change current position on rail to be 1, then add another keyframe. You can add the keyframes here, by the way, if you need to. I prefer it kind of here, honestly, sometimes. Anyway, now if you press play, after the crane shot, we move to the rail shot, and it works. It's perfect. But really, we're going to have to just animate the rotation. So it's going to be kind of simple. I'm not really going to do it too perfectly because this is just a tutorial, but let's actually go ahead and do that real quick. So the transform location, we can maybe go to first person view. Yeah, like this. Well, we can turn this back on, allow cinematic control, then turn this on. And let's actually not animate until, let's actually animate. Never mind that. Anyway, we are going to start here. We're going to set a keyframe for the rotation. Then we are going to go here. We're going to turn around like this. And if the rail gets in your way, what you can do is you can select the rail actor and then turn off show rail visualization, and then it will remove it from your way, so that it's not really annoying anymore. And then you can see that we can now add a keyframe for the rotation. Then we are going to move to this keyframe. Then we're going to move to this way, I guess. Yeah, it's going to stay focused on the character kind of. And then add the keyframe for the rotation. And then we're going to go to this keyframe, turn to the character, add a keyframe for the rotation. This is still way better than actually doing it with the entire transform, like the location as well, because the crane just does the job for you and it does it better than you would. So yeah, just let the professional crane do the job. So guys, this is me from the future, and I wanted to let you know that while animating the rotation of the camera, I forgot to mention something, and that is the thing that was added to camera actors in 5.3, which is the fact that you can actually go to look at tracking settings and choose an actor to track, which will basically make your camera look at a certain character no matter where it's going. So it's gonna do whatever we were trying to do over here, but then it will actually do it accurately and it will not really like miss it like we did. So we are actually going to do that really quick and then continue with the previous version of the tutorial. Well, with the camera selected, you're going to go to actor to track, hit this button, and then choose your actor, which is the dance graceful animation character. And also we want to keyframe enable look at tracking. So I'm going to put a new keyframe with it disabled, and then I'm going to go one frame farther, and then I'm gonna enable it and then add a keyframe. So now it will start tracking the character from this point forward. So if you hit play, you can see that it's gonna be enabled around this point, though it's not perfect. So I know it's too sudden, but it's probably because we do not have root motion enabled for this animation, so it's focusing on where the root is, as you can see. So usually what you would do is you would create, for example, a blueprint or something, and then you would attach like a hidden actor on it, for example on the head, and then you can just set it as the focus point. But sadly I'm not going to do that because we need to keep previewing the animation. So yeah, you can just go back to the old version if you need to. I'm fine with it, honestly. And yeah, that's it. Also, we want to disable the focus. I just remembered that, and that makes the image a little bit clearer. You know what, I'm just going to remove the pirate. My retargeting animations don't really work that much. So I'm just going to put the dancing animation, and for the preview mesh, yeah, it's going to be the mannequin, so that's okay. Then I'm going to delete this track. Never mind. Then I'm going to go actor to sequencer. Of course, we need to select this one, actor to sequencer, then animation, and play the dancing animation over here at this point where the camera starts seeing the character. By the way, if you suddenly see your camera is not moving anymore, then they got unparented from the rig and the rail, so make sure to keep that in mind. So now if you hit play, you can see in your viewport that the crane works, and then it's gonna rotate. And then we're going to move on to the rails. So it's going to move like this. And then the character is going to be dancing. So it's going to look at them. Wow, I love the mannequin dance. And that's it, actually.